Welcome to part 5 of human reproduction. In this part 5, we will discuss oogenesis. So, what is oogenesis? As all of you know, oogenesis is the formation of the ovum or formation of the female gamete. Oogenesis will start, in the case of females, it will start right during the embryonic life. When the embryo develops inside the mother's body, then itself you can see the initiation of the oogenesis. So, all oogenesis is initiated during the embryonic developmental stage. There will be a couple of oogonia developed within each fetal ovary, and no more oogonia will be added after birth of an individual. So all the oogonia that has to be formed, oogenesis will begin from oogonia. So all the oogonia that has to be formed for a female will be formed right at the embryonic life itself. In the embryonic developmental stage itself, all the oogonia are formed in the fetal ovary. Okay, and no more oogonia are formed and added after birth. No more oogonia will be formed. Okay, so I am going to explain the different steps of oogenesis. As in spermatogenesis, the steps will look similar, but the name of the cells and the stages, or there are a lot of variations. So we have the flow chart now. So in this flow chart, you can see the oogenesis process. Oogenesis will begin from which cell? It will begin from oogonia. It will begin from oogonium. Oogonium is singular, oogonia is plural term. So all the oogonia, they are diploid in condition, or they have 46 chromosomes in it. Oogonia, they undergo mitotic divisions. As in the case of spermatogenesis, here also they undergo repeated mitotic divisions. And you can call that phase as phase of multiplication. So now oogonium is formed. Okay, and what happens to this oogonium? It will undergo a phase of growth. So this phase of growth will result in formation of a primary oocyte. So oogonium is getting transformed into a primary oocyte. So this is called a phase of growth. Now what happens? This primary oocyte, further it will undergo the reduction division or meiotic division, and that process is called phase of maturation. So when it undergoes the reduction division, you can see the difference here. There is a difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis here. You can see that the division is unequal. Okay, so here the meiotic division, there is first meiosis, second meiosis. In both the cases, you can see the division is unequal. So after first meiosis, what is the result? The primary oocyte is converted into a first polar body and also a secondary oocyte. I repeat, primary oocyte after first meiosis will be converted into first polar body and secondary oocyte. And the secondary oocyte is undergoing the second meiotic division. Okay, second meiosis. Then what happens? There will be formation of the ovum and also a second polar body. A second polar body is also formed. So the division is unequal here. Okay. So here in this part you can see the cells in the correct sequence. Oogonia, they convert into primary oocytes. Primary oocytes, they undergo the meiotic division to form first the secondary oocyte. Then from the secondary oocyte, the ovum will be formed. So this is the correct sequence. Okay, and also there is a marked difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis, which is the main difference, the unequal division. Here the cells divide unequally. The primary oocyte will divide unequally to form the secondary oocyte and first polar body, and secondary oocyte will divide again unequally to form the ovum and the second polar body. Okay, so the division is unequal. Which cell undergoes meiotic division here? Primary oocyte. Remember which cell undergoes meiotic division? Primary oocyte. So again here in this flow chart, you should identify the diploid cells and haploid cells. The diploid cells here are oogonia. All these oogonia, they are diploid, and also primary oocyte. Oogonia and primary oocyte, they are diploid, but other cells are haploid. When you consider the secondary oocyte, ovum and the polar bodies, they are all haploid, or they will have only 23 chromosomes in them. Okay, others are having diploid cells, they have 46 chromosomes in them. Okay, to know more details of oogenesis, we have the next slide for you. Here, you should know that oogenesis is not occurring in a continuous manner. Oogenesis will have cell cycle stopped at certain phases, at certain stages. Here, oogonia, they start division and they enter into prophase 1 of the meiotic division, and they get temporarily arrested at that stage called primary oocytes. So here, these primary oocytes, they undergo the first meiosis, but they do not complete the first meiosis all of a sudden. They will be getting arrested in the prophase 1. They will be arrested in prophase 1 of the meiotic division. Okay, and restart of the cell cycle will happen only when the individual attains puberty. So remember, all the oogonia, they will start their division. All the oogonia, they will start division, and they will enter into the prophase 1 of the meiotic division. The primary oocytes, they will undergo the meiotic division, and they will enter into prophase 1. They will reach up to prophase 1, but the cell cycle is getting arrested there. Okay, so all the primary oocytes, they are in the prophase 1 at the time of birth. Remember, all the primary oocytes are in prophase 1 at the time of birth. And what will happen to these primary oocytes? Primary oocytes, they are all getting covered by a set of granulosa cells. So oogonia, they are converted into primary oocytes, and these primary oocytes, they are getting covered by granulosa cells, and that will form primary follicle. So a primary follicle, how it is formed? A primary follicle is formed when the primary oocyte is covered by a set of granulosa cells. To know more about this, we have a picture for you. So in this picture, you can see it over here. These are the primordial follicles or primary follicles. So you can see the primary follicle. Okay. So when the primary oocyte is surrounded by granulosa cells, these are granulosa cells. When they are surrounded by granulosa cells, that will form primary follicle. Okay. And usually by the effect of FSH, by the effect of follicle stimulating hormone coming from the anterior pituitary, these primary follicles will be transformed into a secondary follicle, and the secondary follicle will further develop into a tertiary follicle. So the development of follicles will happen further. Okay. But you know one thing, at the time of birth, there will be a couple of million primary follicles. But these primary follicles, they are getting degenerated. There is degeneration of these follicles. This degeneration of the follicles is known as follicular atresia. So there will be atretic follicles or degenerating follicles within each ovary. Okay, so follicles, they also undergo a degeneration, and you can see in the next slide, a large number of the primary follicles, they degenerate during the phase from birth to puberty. From birth to puberty, there will be degeneration of the follicles. So when the individual attains puberty or when the individual attains sexual maturity, the number of primary follicles will be reduced. There was a couple of million primary follicles within each ovary at the time of birth. But when you consider the puberty condition, the number is reduced due to degeneration. And there will be only 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles left in each ovary. What is the reason here? The reason here is this follicular atresia or degeneration of the follicles. So at the time of puberty, you can see only 60,000 to 80,000 follicles left in each ovary. And now what happens? Now the primary follicle, they will be converted into a secondary follicle. What is the difference between a primary follicle and a secondary follicle? Here in the same picture, you can see here the primary follicle is getting converted into a secondary follicle. What is the difference? The difference is that more granulosa cells are surrounding here. Okay, more granulosa cells, they will surround the primary follicle, and there is formation of a layer called theca. A layer known as theca will cover that follicle. Now we can call it as the secondary follicle. So a primary follicle is transformed into a secondary follicle by addition of more granulosa cells and also by formation of a new theca. A new theca layer is formed over it. Now only we can call it as a secondary follicle here. Okay. So now the primary follicle, it has got transformed into a secondary follicle. Now let me ask you one question. What type of cell is present in secondary follicle? Is it primary oocyte or secondary oocyte? Your answer should be, it is also having primary oocyte. The primary follicle is having primary oocyte. Like that, secondary follicle is also having primary oocyte in it. So now, the meiotic division is not complete. Okay, only when the meiotic division, only when the first meiotic division is complete, you can see the formation of the secondary oocyte. So here, secondary follicle will have the same thing. It will also have the primary oocyte in it. Now we have the next slide. So here, you can see an explanation of the secondary follicle. What will happen to it? Okay, now secondary follicle is getting transformed into a tertiary follicle, and you can see here tertiary follicle is characterized by a fluid filled cavity, and that cavity is called andrum. There is a cavity formed within the tertiary follicle, and that cavity is called andrum over here, and this fluid is called liquor folliculi. So there is also a fluid. It is a fluid filled cavity. So tertiary follicle will develop a cavity called andrum. Okay. And now the theca layer that I have mentioned, it will be differentiated or it will be organized into a theca externa and also a theca interna. So here it is labeled theca externa. Okay. And also you can see theca interna labeled here. Okay. So you can see theca externa and also theca interna. The theca layer, it is organized into theca externa and theca interna in the case of tertiary follicle. So that is the main difference between secondary follicle and tertiary follicle. In the case of tertiary follicle, a cavity will be formed and also the theca is organized into theca externa and theca interna. Now what happens? Now within the tertiary follicle, I repeat, within the tertiary follicle, the primary oocyte will complete the first meiotic division. The first meiotic division was in a arrested condition. It was in prophase 1. Okay. Now the cell cycle will restart and the completion of the first meiosis will occur within the tertiary follicle. So here it is written, primary oocyte within the tertiary follicle, it will grow in size and it will complete the first meiotic division. What is the result of the first meiotic division? There will be formation of a secondary oocyte and the first polar body. Okay, so it is an unequal division and it will result in formation of a large haploid cell called a secondary oocyte and a tiny, a very small first polar body. So within the tertiary follicle, there is completion of the first meiotic division and the primary oocyte will be transformed into a secondary oocyte, and also there is liberation of a polar body over there. Okay. So first polar body will be liberated only when the follicle is at the tertiary stage. Only in the tertiary follicle, the first meiotic division will be completed. You got it? So this picture shown here, it explains the structure of the tertiary follicle or a Graafian follicle. You know what is the difference between a tertiary follicle and a Graafian follicle? A fully mature tertiary follicle is known as Graafian follicle. This is actually a fully mature tertiary follicle. So it will have a secondary oocyte over here. Okay. And you know, the secondary oocyte will also have a covering over it. The covering is called zona pellucida. What is the covering over the secondary oocyte? Zona pellucida. Okay. So now within the tertiary follicle or within the Graafian follicle, you can see the secondary oocyte is covered by a layer, and that layer is very important. Zona pellucida. Zona pellucida. Okay. Shall we move to our next slide? Yes. So in this slide, we have the explanation about the changes happening in the tertiary follicle. Tertiary follicle further changes into a mature follicle, and that is called a Graafian follicle. Okay. So Graafian follicle is a fully matured tertiary follicle. Now what is within the tertiary follicle? A secondary oocyte. I have mentioned about secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte will form a new membrane. What is the new membrane called? Zona pellucida. So zona pellucida will form over that secondary oocyte. And now what happens? Now, because of the hormonal changes, I will explain about the hormonal changes later. So here, due to the hormonal changes, actually due to a hormone called LH. You know what is LH? Luteinizing hormone. So by the effect of the luteinizing hormone, this Graafian follicle will rupture. It will rupture and it will release the secondary oocyte from it. And that process is called ovulation. So what is ovulation? Ovulation is the process by which secondary oocyte ruptures by the effect of LH. So here in this picture you can see the tertiary follicle which is transformed into a Graafian follicle. It undergoes a rupturing, and as a result of that rupturing, a secondary oocyte is released here. So this process is called ovulation. So rupturing of the Graafian follicle, it is written very clearly here. Rupturing of the Graafian follicle is what is called ovulation. So from the ovary, this structure called secondary oocyte is coming out, and this is called ovulation. You know, all these stages, they are present in the ovarian stroma, in the cortex of the ovarian stroma. So from the secondary oocyte is coming out, and that process is called ovulation. People will think that it is a fully matured ovum coming out from the ovary. That is wrong. Actually, a secondary oocyte is coming out during ovulation. A fully matured ovum will be formed only when the second meiosis is completed. But now the second meiosis is not over. Actually, now the cell cycle is in the arrested condition. I told you about an arrest in the prophase 1 of meiosis. Now the secondary oocyte is in an arrested condition. When it is released from here, the secondary oocyte is in a metaphase stage of meiosis 2. So secondary oocyte is in an arrested condition. Cell cycle is arrested. It is not developed into a full-fledged ovum. Now secondary oocyte is in which stage? It is in metaphase stage. Okay. Only when the cell cycle restart, it can convert into an ovum. So during ovulation, what will be released? I repeat, a secondary oocyte in a metaphase stage will be released. So we have the next slide for you. So in this slide, it is very clearly written what happens after this ovulation. After ovulation, the ruptured Graafian follicle, what will happen to the ruptured remains of the Graafian follicle? There will be some substances remaining for the Graafian follicle after its rupturing. Now, the ruptured Graafian follicle will transform into corpus luteum. Ruptured Graafian follicle will transform into corpus luteum. I repeat, after the rupturing, Graafian follicle will transform into a corpus luteum. This is a yellowish structure. This is called corpus luteum. And what is the role of this corpus luteum? You know that. You know the function of corpus luteum. It will produce progesterone. It will produce progesterone. So corpus luteum will secrete progesterone and it will maintain the pregnancy. To maintain the health of the endometrial wall of the uterus and also to maintain pregnancy, this hormone is required. That is why progesterone is said to be the pregnancy hormone. So which is the pregnancy hormone in humans? It will be progesterone. Progesterone is maintaining pregnancy and it will be released from which structure? It is released from corpus luteum. So it will be functional when there is fertilization. When the ovum or the secondary oocyte released, when it fuses with the sperm cell, this corpus luteum will be functional. Okay. And if there is no fertilization, what will happen? If there is no fertilization, this corpus luteum will degenerate or it will regress. The regressed corpus luteum is known as corpus albicans. So corpus luteum will regress to form corpus albicans. This is whitish in color. Okay. So corpus luteum is yellowish, but corpus albicans is whitish. So now it will regress. If there is no fertilization, then only corpus luteum will regress to form corpus albicans. Okay. Now we have the next slide for you. This slide clearly explains you about the stages at which the cell cycle is getting arrested. I told you when I explained that the cell cycle is arrested at two stages. One is in the prophase one of the meiosis and other is in the metaphase stage of the meiosis 2. So cell cycle is arrested at two stages in the oogenesis. Here in this picture you can see it over here. Okay, this is a primary oocyte. Primary oocyte. Okay, it will initiate the meiotic division, but it is getting arrested. It will be at the stage of prophase 1. Okay, so only when the individual attains puberty, one by one, these primary oocytes will undergo completion of the first meiotic division. Okay, so the first meiotic division will be completed. First meiotic division is completed only when individual attains puberty, and that is prior to ovulation, before the ovulation. Okay, so here the meiosis 1, prophase 1, there will be an arrest of the cell cycle. Okay, when individual attains puberty, the cell cycle will restart and there will be release of first polar body and there will be formation of the secondary oocyte. Again, the secondary oocyte will begin the second meiotic division, but again there will be arrest at the metaphase stage. And from here, the restart of the cell cycle will happen only when there is sperm entry. I repeat, only when the sperm enters into the secondary oocyte. It is not into a mature ovum, sperm enters. Sperm enters into a secondary oocyte. So when sperm enters into a secondary oocyte at the metaphase stage, the cell cycle will restart. The cell cycle will restart and you can see the liberation of the second polar body. So second polar bodies are eliminated only after the sperm entry, or second meiotic division will be completed only after the sperm entry. So sperms enter into secondary oocyte. Okay. So here it is written second meiotic division will be completed only after the sperm entry and it is just before the completion of fertilization. So cell cycle is arrested at two stages. What are the two stages in which cell cycle is arrested in oogenesis? One is at meiosis 1, prophase 1 of meiosis, and other is at metaphase stage of meiosis 2. Is it clear for you? So the flow chart is very important, and also the stages at which cell cycle is getting arrested, that is also very important. So in this session, I was explaining you about oogenesis. In the next session, I will deal with menstrual cycle and also the hormonal influence of the menstrual cycle. So hope everything is clear. Oogenesis topic is over. We will meet with another topic in the next class. Until then, it's goodbye.